Still in the hospital. Not. They're having to try and do physical therapy because he can't make those signs. So.
Okay, Carla, I show up at midnight, so whatever, give us the action. Good. Good morning, everyone. Today's date is June 8th, 2020. First item on our agenda is Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation to be led by Commissioner Martinez. So if you will, please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much, dear Lord, that you give us another day of life, dear Lord. Dear Lord, a chance to go and do, dear Lord, what we know we need to do as leaders and as Christian people, dear Lord. Dear Lord, I ask that you be with this great country of ours, dear Lord, that you wrap your arms around it, dear Lord, and just embrace it, dear Lord, and spread the love. As right now we're having some difficult times right now, dear Lord. Not only the country, but this whole world. Dear Lord, I ask that you send a blessing on it, dear Lord. Dear Lord, I pray for all of the military people, dear Lord, all the first responders, dear Lord, as they put their lives on the line every day for us, dear Lord. I ask that you be with them and their families, dear Lord. Dear Lord, I ask that you be with us this morning as we make decisions that are good for the people of this county, dear Lord. I ask that you give us the knowledge, dear Lord, that we do the right thing in your eyes, dear Lord. Again, we thank you for all the blessings that you give us, dear Lord, for at times I know that we take for granted, dear Lord, especially our freedom. Dear Lord, thank you for Hale County, dear Lord, we're not seeing what we're seeing in the other parts of this country, dear Lord. I'm so thankful for that. Again, dear Lord, we thank you, dear Lord. We love you, dear Lord, and we ask that you please forgive us when we fail you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone here this morning. We'll start out by approving our minutes of our previous meetings for the regular meeting of May 26, 2020, special meetings of May 22nd, 2020, and May 29th of 2020. Y'all have a chance to look over those minutes. Do I hear a motion that we approve those as written?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Next item on our agenda is the auditor's report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The only thing I have this morning is for the court to approve the 2021 budget calendar. And I gave all of you a copy of that on Friday. So if you had a chance to look at it and you have any questions.
Any questions on the budget calendar? Do I hear a motion that we approve the budget calendar as written?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next item is our treasurer's report.
I don't have anything to do.
All right. I'm going to skip my items. I've got a number of them, and some of them are going to take a little time. So, next item would be our county attorney.
morning.
Morning, Jim.
I was just coming today to notify you all of the hiring of a new administrative assistant in my office, Monica Hernandez. And that would be effective as of June 2nd, last Tuesday. And she is at a pay group 13-9. And I left my sheet with the numbers on it in my office, so I'll trust the county treasurer will have those numbers and pay her accordingly. So I just bring that to you to give you notification of that new personnel change.
Okay.
Do you have that number, Adam?
It's 34,000 something a year.
34,791.
I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared, but the pay group 9 is at $34,791.14. Biweekly amount is $1,338.12.
Thank you.
I apologize, I thought I had that in my stack of business here, but
All right, you've heard the request from the county attorney on the hiring of a new administrative assistant, Monica Hernandez, at a pay group 13.9. And this would be effective from June 2nd. Do I hear a motion that we approve that?
I make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
thank you all very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next item is Commissioner Precinct 1.
First on the list, I have Diane Martinez. She lives out in South Ward. And she has brought up the subject several times of us putting some kind of dumpsters or some kind of cleanup program out there in South Ward. And I have actually talked with TCEQ and Lubbock. I haven't got all the final stuff back, but I'm gonna let her come forward and speak. She's right here.
Well, I'm Diane Martinez, and I am a resident from Plainview since all my life, and have lived out in South Ward for 20 years, and have seen it just get worse and worse. And I'm sure Harold can tell you how many times we have to pick up tires, trash, all kinds of things off the ditches in my property. Often I have to pay for it to be taken to the dump, because I believe South Ward is part of Plainview, regardless of how many times people travel out there, don't want to look at it, kind of forget about it, but it is part of Plainview. And when businesses, including my brother-in-law, who has a business and thought about moving here, drove around the city and drove out there, he said, no, I'm not going to move here. So that brought my concern, because I'm involved in all of Plainview. I am on the board of Main Street Council, and I consider South Ward very much part of Plainview. I have talked to several residents out there about how we can get something, how we can help them. A lot of them are minority people on a very low income. They cannot afford to go to the dump. If you have a choice of feeding your family or going to the dump, what are you going to choose? So I sent Harold just a few pictures of how terrible a lot of the places look. I have volunteered several times to help people out there. I'm getting older and can't volunteer so much. But I did call. We are not on the trash service as Plainview is. We are with South Plains Waste. So I called them to see how we could provide, like Plainview has a Lona tub. Well, they'll charge $150 to bring the truck out, then $300 after that, and then they charge you by the weight of the waste. So you're looking at about $500 or $600 just to bring out a truck to clean up your property. How many people can afford that live out there? So I'm asking for assistance in some kind of program, some kind of service that can help South Ward. A lot of them are willing to clean up. They don't have the means. And if y'all can help us in any way, I mean, not all the houses look awful. If you'll drive around, we keep up our property. There's several people that keep it up nice, but when you drive around, other places, and Harold may want to share those pictures. Those are just a few. So any kind of help y'all can give us with providing a truck every 6 months out there. Sharita with the water department out there has said we can place it on her property. And I even volunteered to stand there and make sure they don't throw tires or whatever in there. So your assistance would be greatly appreciated.
Like I say, I'm working with TCEQ on regulations of what we can, because there's certain things, and I've learned this from the city, there's certain things that we can put in those dumpsters because they're gonna haul them to the city landfill. And there's certain things that you can't. You have to break it down and do all that. So I am talking to TCEQ about all of that.
Okay, thank you.
We'll figure something out.
Diane, you're just proposing that we get some trucks or dumpsters or whatever just there and then, so people can clean up their property
Yes,
themselves, they'll furnish the
kind of
labor?
like the Plainview Loma Tub program. I've called the city, we're not allowed to use them out there.
Well, Diane, I want to say while we're here, I want to thank you for your efforts and what you do. I've watched you over the years. You worked hard trying to make Seth Ward a better place to live. If we had a few more people that would take as much interest in it as you have, it'd be a totally different place. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
The few, the ones out there, the few are the ones that actually make it. And Margie that works for Ida and Diane, those families, the trashers and all that, try to keep most things clean out there and picked up. There's some, most of them don't.
All right. What are we considering on this?
We're just discussing it right now.
Okay.
I'll figure some more stuff out and then we'll bring it back.
Okay. I think there's probably a way, you work with the regulatory agency and see, but I think there's probably a way we could provide the dumpsters. I'm just speaking, I think that's something we could do, and something we'd be willing to do.
Thank you.
So there'll be no action on that item today. We'll research that, and Ms. Martinez will be in touch with you when we're able to provide that dumpster service out there. Like I say, maybe do it periodically, like you were saying. Of course, we'll provide it, and if they use it, then it would be to all of our benefit to continue to do it. So,
I'd be willing to take flyers, brochures, and translate them in Spanish, let them know when you're gonna have it.
okay, all right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Harold.
My next agenda item is Kevin Igo and the Parade of Breeds.
All right.
Good morning, guys.
Morning,
Kevin. I was anxious when you set the agenda and said the Pledge of Allegiance. I thought we were going to get to sing the national anthem afterwards, but missed that part of it. So, Harold called a couple of weeks ago on the Parade of Breeds. Me and Michael Dawson. Michael will speak here in just a second about what we're going to do to possibly our best efforts on trying to stay within the guidelines of the state of Texas and the federal government on the spread of the coronavirus. It has definitely been a concern of ours. A lot of anxious nights trying to figure out, would we be allowed by the state of Texas and stuff like that. But I just wanted to share with you guys how much we appreciate the cooperation between the commissioners and the Parade of Breeds. It's been going on since 1983, consistently since 1983, and that is it is an economic driver for this county. We consistently have 450 entries in that 3-day event. 4 years ago, we made it a Saturday only show because it always has been on Father's Day weekend, and we made an executive decision. A lot of people. It never changed our numbers, but people always said, "Man, we'd like to spend Sunday with our fathers," and we are spending them with them at the Parade of Breeds, but we'd like to be at home. So we listened to our people that were coming, And we get it all done on Saturdays now, Friday night and Saturdays. It is a great thing. Our hotels are full. The businesses, the restaurants are supported. But we as a nonprofit organization have consistently put money into the improvements of the Ollie Liner Center through pins that are used to the Hale County Stock Show, through pig auctions, different things, helped with wash racks, lighting, and things of that nature. So the money all goes back to the kids. The money all stays in the facility. So it's not like we're being leeches or things of that nature. I think we're very judicious. There are 2 board members that originally began with Parade of Breeds that are still on the board today. And it's a very consistent board. The thing I'm proudest of that board is that we continually bring parents in whose children are showing, so that they have input on how better to serve their children. It is a first-class facility. I know in 2 weeks when the Parade of Breeds begins, the following week, there's one in Levelland that is at their facility, and their facility can handle even more cattle than ours. The following week, there will be one in Abilene, and the following week from there will be one down, I'm going to say, in College Station. So I'm glad that the governor has allowed us to start doing this again. It is exciting for us to get to see these different families that we see on an annual basis. We are, because of the setting up time and the amount of time that Benny has to help do that this year, and the lack of use of trustees from the prison, we've had 3 work days so far in which volunteers from the Parade of Breeds came up and rolled out mats and smoothed up sand and different things of that nature, and got it done very timely. We used a lot of the young kids that we'll be showing, and that's what the Parade of Breeds is about, is teaching our young people work ethics, and hopefully they come back to be tax-paying citizens and aren't going to be our problem juvenile delinquents that we spend a lot of money on as well. So I appreciate Harold, Jimmy, all you commissioners, Kenny, for y'all's help in providing equipment, providing man hours that help. Some of the kids can't lift as much. Some of us guys are getting older and can't lift as much, and so I appreciate that. A question that was asked by Mary Bass, who is one of the original board members, and I guess it's directed more towards Jimmy, but I know when Benny was a commissioner, we had I don't know exactly, Mary was telling me, but Benny would lease a machine that would sift the manure from the sand so that we could use that sand again. Mary was asking me Friday or Saturday about that, and I said, I didn't even know they had that. So I'm asking.
We did it 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was cost.
Yeah, we had to go pick it up now in the Metroplex area.
Does it work?
Yeah.
I mean, is it something that we can use again?
But I
But
have to call the guy and see if we can run down there and pick it up and sift it through the.
Mary just acted like it was a benefit to the county and everything else. So she asked what our status was, and I said I have
We
no
got
idea.
into that because now we're having a hard time finding that sand. The guy that we used to get it from over at Cotton Center sold that place, and whoever bought it won't
Yeah.
sell the sand, so
Yeah.
that's where that machine came from.
Okay.
Benny found it somewhere down in the Metroplex.
Okay. Well, if the rings are set up, I think they're going to hang banners one day this week and to promote the sponsors of that deal. And so I guess my part is to thank you guys for all the work that you guys have helped us with, and we will hopefully next year have trustees available to help. But until then, we've done well. I'm gonna let Michael talk about some of the protocol that we've done to help prevent the spread of the virus through that organization.
Kevin, there was actually a show this past week in Belton, is that right?
There is usually one, but I don't know, Kenny. Our focus has been on Bell County right now, but yeah, I know the governor has opened it up to where we can do that.
I knew some folks that
Yeah,
went, so
okay.
they did.
The Angus Association or something had something down there. You're exactly right, Kenny. So, any other questions for me?
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, we were just gonna mention some of the things we're gonna do to try to make sure that we follow as many protocols, follow the state's protocols as we're putting it on. We've done almost all the entries are gonna be online this year. So there's not gonna be a line, people doing entries when they're getting there at it. And if they do, we are gonna have a few people that are still gonna do that. We're gonna have them spaced apart. We're gonna have hand sanitizing stations all throughout the barn, at the bleachers, and as you come in and at all the entrances and exits of the place. We're also gonna plan on having, in the stands, we're gonna ask people, we're gonna put up signs saying, if you arrived as a group, you can stay as a group. If you're a family, you can stay as a family. We'd like to keep families in groups to maintain social distance. There's kind of a tradition, kids shake the judges' hands afterwards and they shake each other. We're gonna not allow that this year. We're not gonna have those things kind of things going on. And the cattle are spaced out, they space out to about 6 feet apart. I mean, they're about that long. That's not gonna, they're walking in their head to tail. They're pretty well naturally spaced 6 feet apart, and we're gonna make sure that we keep that. Whenever they're being lined up and all that, we're gonna try to do all we can with that. So that's kind of our plans. If y'all think of anything else that you'd like for us to do with it, just let us know. I mean, we can sure. And the food, we'll have Abernathy is gonna do a concession stand at it, and they're gonna follow all the new health guidelines with the concession stand at it. So we've got, if there's any other questions about it or something we forget, just let us know and we'll sure work on that. And we do appreciate all the help. Golly, I tell you what, all the equipment and Beanie and everybody working out at the Ollie Liner Center has been really good. It has been really good. And we've enjoyed a lot of help with it. And this year we got to do a little bit extra on it and probably made us appreciate the help that we've had even more.
Any questions? The only thing I would think is we'll post notices out there like the standard notice,
Yes.
Please don't enter if you feel sick or anything like that. And might even have some of the information for y'all to pass out to the entrance, just so they're aware of it.
Yeah, that would be good.
I don't know who's been around that's not aware of that, but just to have it covered. So, Jim had called when I got back from court Friday, and anyway, Jim, do you see any issues or anything we need them to do besides what they're doing?
Judge, I don't. The governor's last order from June 3rd says there's no occupancy limit on recreational sports programs, which I would kind of look this into, and I'd be hard pressed to say why having something like this in a big facility like the Ollie Liner Center would be worse than having a AAU basketball tournament where you've got a lot more respiration going on in a lot smaller facility. So
Okay.
I think it's fine under the governor's orders.
All right. Well, Michael, thanks for precautions and the work that y'all done. Any questions among the court? Do we need to take any action or?
I don't think we can
never have to.
This is just a talk about what we were doing and how we were gonna
Just for
handle the
information.
situation.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate all y'all's work.
Thank you. Thanks. You guys. All right, next item on the agenda is Commissioner Precinct 4.
All right, on the first item I had, I just asked them for permission to put these items on the auction, be vehicles and things like that, so I'm just asking for permission. Do that this time.
So you're making a motion?
Make a motion to allow us
To auction those items off?
yes.
Do you have a date, Jimmy?
Not yet.
Have a motion that we allow Commissioner Precinct 4 to auction off items on Lone Star Auction. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? Still don't know when it's gonna be, Jimmy?
Not yet, I haven't set up, I was trying to get permission first, Mark.
Okay. Then, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, and then your second item?
The second item, I wanna table that until I have time to talk to Jim about that.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is the district clerk. Also our executive director.
Okay, I had come to court 2 or 3 times ago, or 2 times ago, and asked to have screens put up on my counters. And I was going the plexiglass route, and when they came in, they just weren't, the highest quality and didn't look right. So, and then plus after seeing Latrice's in the county clerk's office, I had David Reed come and give me a proposal, and we had approved 35, you guys had approved 35 for it, and he came back with $37.85, and it's the glass, with cutouts and everything. And so I'm asking that you approve the extra $285 and make it payable to Reed's Glass instead of Amazon.
Okay. So do I hear a motion that we allow the district clerk to purchase from Reed's Glass these security, I don't want to call them screens, security glass, I guess, that,
I'll make that motion.
okay, all right. And I would say, let's give her an amount not to exceed $4,000, just so if they get in there and need a little more money.
Is that installation and everything, Carmen?
Yes, labor and all.
All right, have a motion that we allow this to be purchased from Reed's Glass, not to exceed $4,000. Do we have a second? I'm sorry. Wait. Yeah, second by Harold?
Yes.
Okay. And Melinda is telling me to remind you that this will be paid for out of Fund 11, which is our permanent improvement. So, any discussion on that? All right. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Okay, the next thing on my list was we had approved the internet being upgraded, and then our contract for our phones came due, and we kind of had a rough amount, and now we have a really good amount thanks to the auditor's office. And so for the internet and the phone service, and for all 3 accounts, which includes all, the jail, this building, Justice Center, those guys over there, juvenile probation, juvenile probation. It's $4,500 a month. And that's, we added a little bit, it comes out to $38.79, but they have all their little fees, and those fees kind of depend on how much long distance or whatever we use. So Melinda had said to say $4,500 a month, and that's internet and phone service.
So that fee may go up and down.
We shouldn't go over 45, is
Depends
what we
on
figured.
the type of calls and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay.
We just never know what those taxes are gonna be, so that it makes it fluctuate a little bit.
So you've heard the request for our updated phone and internet bill for a monthly fee of $4,500. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion?
Is there a contract to be signed on that?
We already did
Okay.
on the last time.
Yeah, Jim, we did have that approved, those contracts were approved when Carla brought the internet. And they had included the phone service at that time, which we did not know.
Well, no, we
But-
did know because we knew our contract was
Yeah.
running out, and so they were just gonna keep it the same.
Yeah.
But it kind of changed a little
It changed a
bit,
little
so.
bit. So do we need to ratify those or just,
Different amount?
because we did, I mean, I did tell Carla we had to change the amount because it was different.
Well, I would think since you're doing some new amount today, then it's probably good.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we'll go back up to my items. On Friday, Mike is back with us today, but on Friday, Mike gave us his first quarter EDC report. Do I hear a motion that we approve the report that was submitted?
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? Mike, do you have anything you want to add, or?
Not at this time. Hopefully, we'll be having a ribbon cutting for our business park in the not-too-distant future. I'll make everybody aware when that's going to be coming up, but when we can start having crowds gathered, we will probably, unless we were protesting out there, I guess you can protest and have a large crowd, but I hope we don't have protests. But we'll let you know what the timeline on that is. So thank you for all that you do, and look forward to that ribbon cutting. I think that's going to be a great day for us.
Okay, well, thank you. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, I'll give everyone fair warning. I've got 3 resolutions to read today. The first 2 aren't very long, so, but I would not be offended if anyone wants to get up and leave, so.
If you're smart, Kevin, you'll know that before.
Except
No offense,
for-
David.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
I really think y'all ought to stick around.
All right, the first one is on a resolution encouraging citizens to participate in the 2020 United States Census. Whereas Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 3, the United States Constitution requires the Congress to conduct an enumeration of all persons living in the United States every 10 years. And whereas this year, 2020, is a year in which Congress must conduct the United States Census, and whereas participation in the census, while required by law, is also used for many important purposes, and whereas the census count determines the number and territory of the representation of everything in the United States House of Representatives to the local school board, and whereas the census count determines funding for various government projects at a federal, state, and local level, and whereas an accurate census count for Hale County is vital to ensure that Hale County receives its proportional share of political representation in Washington, D.C. and Austin, and whereas widespread participation in the census enumeration process by citizens of Hale County will ensure an accurate count of Hale County's population and its location. And whereas the Census Bureau offers both online and mail-in forms to allow citizens to complete their part in the census enumeration process, and be it therefore resolved by the Hale County Commissioners Court that the court recognizes the importance of the census enumeration process and strongly encourages all citizens to do their civic duty as Americans, Texans, and residents of Hale County and complete the census forms, whether online or by mail, as soon as possible. So resolved by the Hale County Commissioners Court at its regular meeting on June 8th of 2020. Do I hear a motion that we approve this resolution?
Make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? I don't know about y'all, I've done that online. It took about 5 minutes. And so, like I say, I don't know about the the forms to fill out and mail in, but if you have access to online, it's really easy to do, so I would encourage you to do it that way. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The next item I have is on the grant that I'm applying for with South Plains Association of Governments. One of the requirements to complete that application process is to have a resolution approved by the court. So this is a resolution authorizing application for a coronavirus emergency supplemental funding program. Whereas a novel coronavirus, also COVID-19, has been recognized globally as a contagious respiratory virus, and whereas COVID-19 has affected communities around the world, including Hill County, as a pandemic, and whereas the United States Congress has appropriated funds to the state of Texas, which are being administered in a grant program by the Public Safety Office of the Governor of Texas, also known as PSO, and whereas Hill County is eligible to apply for grant funds from the PSO for use of the hiring of personnel and the purchase of supplies and equipment and the necessities that arise from the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas applying and receiving those grant funds would assist Hill County in meeting extraordinary expenses and issues brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the personal supplies and equipment funded by the grant fund would assist Hill County to respond to and to blunt the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in Hill County. And whereas the county judge of Hill County is willing to serve as the contact person for Hill County for this grant application and award, be it therefore resolved by the Commissioners Court of Hill County, Texas, that one, the county judge of Hill County is hereby authorized to apply for these grant funds from the PSO supplies on behalf of Hill County in order to facilitate the funding of additional personnel, supplies, and equipment for Hill County and to address the effects and cause of the COVID-19 pandemic on behalf of its citizens. Two, Hill County will provide all required matching funds, if any, to meet all terms and conditions of the award of these grant funds. Three, that David B. Mull, as Hill County Judge, shall have the authority to apply or accept, reject, alter, or terminate the grant of these funds from the PSO. And four, that Hill County, in the effort of a loss or misuse of any grant funds awarded, will return all funds to the PSO. So resolved by the Hill County Commissioners Court on its regular meeting date on June 8th of 2020. So do I hear a motion that this resolution be approved?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Commissioner Cornell makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? I will apply for that. Hopefully today I'll complete the application process and send that in. I'd like to thank those that have helped me with the information to be able to do that. Now, just to refresh your memory on this is a $30,000 grant that we'll receive. It requires no matching funds, and so as of right now, the grant would be used for either protective equipment, PPE, or to replenish our supplies that we used during the COVID-19. So, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The next item, I'm going to skip because that means I'm going to have to read the resolution for COVID-19. So let's go to the purchase of equipment for COVID-19. We just need to table this. Carla had her equipment purchased. I contacted Best Window. I contacted a couple of window places here in town, but Best has come and measured, but I have yet to get a quote from William to do my courtroom and the JP courtroom in the basement. So we'll just table that item until I receive a quote from Best, or another vendor. Item F, I gave everyone in their box a 23-page report on the CARES grant. I just keep finding stuff on my email about this CARES grant. And so I'm gonna ask that we table it also because I found another 36 pages of like a chart and everything. And I provided what I provided to y'all to Jim on Friday. And so we haven't had much time to review. And the way I read this, we have until December 30th of this year to make application, if we choose to make application. So there's not really a time restraint. The one that I just read the resolution on, there's a time restraint. It has to be turned in by June 15th. And so I'll just table this and we'll bring this up at our next meeting. Okay, the EMS reports from Petersburg. This is their May 2020 report. They had 12 runs within the city limits. They had 7 transports. They had 5 non-transports for 12 billable runs. They had no runs outside the city limits and no runs into Hill County. So for the month of May, they had a total of 12 runs. Their financial report for the month of May shows that they had revenue of $2,126.32 and expenses of $8,277.54 for a difference of a negative $6,151.22. Any questions about this EMS report from Petersburg? If not, do I hear a motion that we approve that?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Judge, I abstain from the vote.
Okay, all right. And Show Mario's abstaining. All right. Item H is the Health Center EMS report. They show that they had 8 transfers. This is also the month of May report. They had 8 transfers. They had 16 EMS calls, 14 within the city, 2 out of the city. Total calls of 24. They also had 4 non-transport. So they had 20 billable runs. They show for May 2020, they show total income of $20,661.38. Total expenses of $32,341.93 for a difference of a negative $11,680.55. Any questions about this report from Health Center? Do I hear a motion that we approve that report?
I make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any discussion? All right. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The next item we have is Germ Blast. Mark is with us again today. We heard his presentation on Friday. And so I'll turn it over. Does anyone have any discussion about Germ Blast? Does anyone have a motion that we?
Judge, I got a question.
All right.
Did we include all of the buildings? Outline Center, across the street, adult probation,
We did include across the street, I believe, all those, the probation and tax office and Deborah and them's office. And we did not include the Ollie Minor Center.
What about the juvenile?
Yes,
Yeah, it's part of
that's
it.
how we got acquainted with him. is
Okay.
He did juvenile, or he's gonna do juvenile, I guess, so.
What does everybody think of it? I mean, I was thinking over the weekend, it actually is the lower case amount that we've got in Hale County, in Longview. I still think we're pretty much on the safe side as far as contamination and all that. I don't know, y'all may change my mind in a minute, but I don't know at this point in time, I'm ready to spend that amount of money as low as our case deal is, and we don't look like it's growing or anything. Don't give me y'all's 2 cents.
Well, based on the information we have now, Judge, I'm pretty much of the same opinion. I don't believe I'd be willing to, it is expensive, and I'm not sure that it would benefit us enough to do it at this time. I feel like if we'll continue to incorporate good hygiene practices, social distancing, and we're getting some more of the windows and so forth to separate people from our employees and things, I personally don't think I'd be willing to do it at this time.
Any other discussion?
I'm in agreement with Commissioner King and Commissioner Cook.
I kind of feel the same way, Judge. I think we may need to take a little bit more time and look at this thing again.
I would like to comment, I thank Mark for preparing all this. I think he did a good job on preparing. I think it's something to look at.
Thank you, Mark, for presenting that. Is David Cochran still here? Or is-
No,
Yeah, his hat's here.
Okay.
You want me to check?
No, that's
The
okay.
auditor's office?
Mark, I'll stay in touch with you.
Okay.
I would say we just table this item, not take any action on it. I will stay in touch with you, and you might also stay in touch with the sheriff, as far as maybe services there, but as of today, then, we'll table this item, or take no action on this item.
Can I make one statement?
Yes, sir.
I just want to, and I kind of mentioned it right at the end, but please too feel free how flexible we can be. If there's somewhere that comes along where you have one room or one place, one area that you think is being disinfected for any reason, we can sure help with that too. We don't have to look at, an overall program for every building or every area, so.
Okay.
We're sure available.
Well, thank you, Mark, for being here today and for Friday, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
We'll be in touch with you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right. Now for actually, we need to discuss the COVID-19.
Judge, can I say one thing about the resolution?
Yes, sir.
The only thing, the one that I presented to y'all, of course, sorry, y'all, I can't see you from the back. Y'all are free to do what you want to, as always, but the resolution I put in your box on Friday, the only thing really that's different between it and the last one is to change GA 23, which was the number of the last order from the governor, to GA 26. And so in my opinion, Judge, you've already read the resolution basically, so if you, and you're certainly free to read it again, but if you didn't want to, I think with that understanding, you'd be all right.
Okay, all right. So, now, just as far, this was also the date that we chose that we would readdress.
Yes.
Looking at our local situation. And we agreed last time that unless we have an outbreak here or a rise in our cases, then we would go by what the governor was setting forth as our guidelines. And I'd say we should probably continue to do that. Now, as far as the local courthouse and the operation of the courthouse, we also talked Friday that we would discuss that today. Now, I will tell you that the OCA and the Texas Supreme Court has said that as far as like jury trials or any type of face-to-face trials, they want us to not have those until August 1st. And so, as far as when we say we're going to open back up the courthouse, take that in a relative term, because we're not really going to get back to what you would consider things as normal. So, don't think if we take action that next week there's going to be a big jury trial or anything, okay? But what are y'all's feelings as far as what we need to do with our local building? We discussed on Friday, I hate to see our other businesses and stuff open back up and us not do something. So, do y'all have any feelings?
Judge, I feel like we need to go ahead and open the courthouse back up, and again, continue to use best practices we can as far as social distancing and good hygiene. And I'm really pleased to see these counters go up, these glass barriers, and once Carla gets hers up in there, I believe it's gonna offer as much protection as you can reasonably expect. So I believe we need to look at going and opening it up, and maybe, I think we mentioned before, maybe go and continue to use one door at the courthouse for entry. If that's my opinion, and I don't know how everybody else feels about it.
We've talked about the one door because one of the things we thought about doing, of course, we'll post notices at the doors that, if you're sick, don't come in. If you've had these conditions, don't come in. The other thing is I've talked to the sheriff and he's willing, the security officers, we can give those officers thermometers, and if we allow just access at the basement level here in this courthouse, then they can take temperatures, and if your temperature is below the range that's required, then that person will be allowed to go up throughout the courthouse to conduct their business. But if for some reason they showed up and had a temperature above that range, they would be asked to leave, either contact that official by phone or online. So, any other discussion?
Judge, can I say one more thing about the
Yes.
resolution? The governor's order, the way I read it from last week, does not, in the past, he said this is gonna stay in effect till, and the last one was June 3rd, which is the day he gave his new order. This one, his latest order, GA 26, is in effect basically indefinitely till he does something else. There's not a deadline, and so I didn't put in the resolution I gave y'all Friday, I basically set it up like that where y'all could just, it's in effect till y'all do something different. So we can go back and I can put in a date and a time if you want me to. We can, first meeting in July, or, next meeting in June, or whatever y'all want to do, or we can just kind of let it ride. It looks to me like the governor's maybe through doing a little adjustments on a regular basis maybe till we get some better data, on the cases. But, so I'm just going to point that out to you as well. I can change it however you want to change it.
Okay, thank you. I would say though, like Carla's screen or protective barrier won't be in place for a little while anyway. And so I would say we might want to allow the elected official or department head to determine whether to allow traffic or not until they get that barrier in place and some of the other protective items. So I would say either we limit access until our next meeting on the 22nd, I believe that's right, the 22nd, or that we possibly allow traffic beginning next Monday, the 15th. We need about a few days' notice because part of the requirements in the OCA deal is we'll have to go and put occupancy levels on different building, or different offices. And, you know, of course, an occupancy level of 2 on the elevator and things like that. So it's gonna take us, you know, we're not gonna be able to say, all right, we're open this afternoon, because we're gonna need, once we decide what we need to do, a little prep time to do that, so. Anyone else have anything to say? All right. With that being said, or not being said, then on a resolution R200608, you've heard the county attorney say that basically the only thing that has changed is the GA number from 23 to 26. Is that correct, Tim?
That's correct.
Okay. And so the governor's order, or executive order, is available online. And so, and since Hell County, we've adopted the philosophy that we're going to accept the requirements that the governor follows. So do I hear a motion that we adopt resolution R20-0608, and this would replace our previous resolution?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner King. Any further discussion about the resolution?
I have a question. So are we gonna stay closed till the next court, till Providence, or how is that? Or are you doing it just individually?
I'm going to do it. We'll do the resolution, then we'll make a motion on the others. So, all right. So on the resolution, we have a motion made by Commissioner Kelly and a second by Commissioner King. Any discussion about the resolution? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right. And then our continued discussion or what we want to do locally at the courthouse level. Does anyone have a motion they want to make?
Judge, what was the date we talked about possibly opening up the courthouse? Or
If we wait and do it the next court date, it would be the 22nd. If we do it next week, it would be the 15th. Tracy?
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Or if y'all talked about it, like the entrances, when we do, are you thinking about just still leaving the one entrance, or are you opening them all up, or?
We're going to open both of the basement entrances.
Okay.
And the security officers will take temperature of anyone that wants to conduct business throughout the courthouse. And as long as they have or do not have the temperature, they'll be allowed to go and conduct business. If for some reason they would be above the required temperature, then they would be asked to leave.
Judge, don't you have to ask them the questions? Have they been feeling bad and all that too?
That's going to be part of
That's what Judge
our
Schiffel
posting.
told us.
We're going to post those at the entryway, and then I guess we'll have the security officers also ask them those questions.
Judge, would the 15th give you enough time to post whatever needs to be posted and come up with the questions that we're going to ask?
I believe so. The questions are in place. It's part of Judge Hugel's order to the OCA, so we'll just have to reproduce those and make sure the security officers have those.
If the elected officials are comfortable and you're comfortable, I'd like to see it open up on the 15th myself, Judge.
Okay. Would you put that in the form of a motion?
I sure would. That'd be my motion, Judge.
Okay. So you've heard a motion that we go ahead and adopt, not really, I don't want to say open the courthouse because we're still going to have some requirements, but as far as being able to come up and conduct business beginning on the 15th, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any other discussion?
I have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question. So, as you were talking about the occupancy, like in each office, you know, like in my office, like, I mean, is that gonna be up to me?
That
How
would
many
be-
I limit, or?
That would be up to
Okay.
you.
Okay,
if
I'll
you
get my
know,
counter.
If you put an occupancy level of 3 people,
Yeah.
then anyone that's wanting to enter outside of that would just have to wait till somebody
Okay.
leaves. So,
Okay.
all
Does that be part of the motion also, Judge, that each elected official decides what the occupancy is in their office?
right. Okay, so you're gonna add that to your original motion that we're gonna open the 15th, but that each elected official or department head would still have the ability to limit occupancy numbers in their office.
What about masks? Is there any kind of?
We're gonna ask that
say
they
they
wear
wear
masks. We'll have masks available. If they don't have one, we'll provide them for them.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Whoever made the second, who seconded? And you're okay with those added? Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'd like to take, before we end, that does conclude our agenda. I'd like to thank Jim for all of his help during this whole process. I've had to read these resolutions, but he's had to write them. So, like I said, thank you, Jim, and also for the other resolutions that we did today. I appreciate it. All right. Any other thing come before court today? If not, then we'll stand adjourned at 10:01 a.m. Thank you. Hey, Dave.